Hello, and welcome to our podcast, There's a Ghost in My Closet. I'm Alice, and I'm joined with my other host, Carly.
Hello. Now join us while we dive right into what wants to remain deep in gossip.
Well, you made that one spooky.
What this is a spooky podcast.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Insert Kool-Aid Man noise here.
Oh, yeah. Today we are going to be talking about both Conjuring Houses.
Now, some of you may be asking, both Conjuring Houses, wasn't there only one? And if you don't know what the Conjuring Houses are, there's technically only one. However, there is a second one. The reasons why it's called is nowhere. It's not even in this country. It's in the UK. However, it's labeled the second Conjuring House because this house was so haunted. Is what inspired the second Conjuring movie.
Yeah, it's called the Enfield Poltergeist House, what people call it.
Yeah, we just considered it all one thing because it's a little bit shorter than the original Conjuring House in Rhode Island, but it's very interesting. It heavily inspired the new Conjuring movie. And I just thought I love to debate on this podcast, and this house is very debatable. So, but
As you see, I made us coffee.
we we have a little pre-podcast ritual. I've noticed past couple podcasts, if we don't do our little making,
We're not
coffee,
ourselves.
yeah, we're not. The podcast just goes to shit. We have terrible luck with the podcast if you don't make a coffee beforehand. So I think we should just do that every time.
Yeah.
But moving on to some announcements that both of us wanted to share. Recently, we have investigated the Dead Children's Playground in Huntsville, Alabama, which is an hour and a half away from our location.
Yes.
It is located on Maple Hill Cemetery, and we found out some pretty interesting information during our time over there.
Okay, so I searched up while we were there how many graves there were because it looked like it was in
If you guys don't know, it is the biggest cemetery in Alabama. Not our district, Alabama.
Yeah, we both have family buried there apparently. We found out.
We had no idea. And what's funny is that I remember, so what our goal was when we went to the cemetery was, so we did film a little bit of it, but my phone was about to die and we forgot the camera. Actually, I did, but
I forgot the battery.
I forgot the battery. I agree. But my phone was about to die, so I was unfortunately unable to record a lot of us like walking around the cemetery. But we did record some methods, which I will post those eventually when I get them edited. But we had this idea. We said, okay, let's walk around. Let's park at the playground, walk around the cemetery, go to whatever graves we're drawn to most, see if they would like to communicate. We brought my spirit box, we brought my EMF reader, and then ask if they would like to join us at the playground to have some sort of like huge investigation, right? So we went to the graves. We walked around the whole perimeter of the graveyard. We asked the spirits we were most like whose graves we were most drawn to.
Yeah.
We also had our spirit box out just to see if they said a name, which they did several times. We'll get into that later. But and then I remember we were walking back to the playground.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, oh yeah, my mom's side has not been in the States very long. I'm third generation Scottish. My mom's family I don't know much about. My dad's side, however, has been here since colonies, like the original colonies. So I was like, I probably have family all over. And I remember saying that, and then I look over, and it's literally my great grandmother's maiden name family. And I had no idea we were like my family had any sort of correlation there. Like Carly had a similar experience.
Yes. Okay. Now I'm just gonna say how many graves are there technically. I said about in the thousands, so I was not wrong.
No, she was not.
But at first, before 2024, they said it was like 80,000, which is still a lot. But as of 2024, there is over 100,000 graves, including ones from the early 1800s, which we actually saw.
I think the earliest we've seen was like 1806 or 1809.
Yeah, but
It was crazy. We're definitely gonna post it soon. I have to look at that. I honestly, I've been working so much. I've been so tired. I haven't really gotten the chance to look at it, but
we've both been tired.
we will merge them together and post it for you guys. What the most intriguing part about that investigation was how crystal clear our Estes methods have been, because I have full confidence in saying that that was the most crystal clear Estes method we have ever done. Like we haven't done many, but that one connections lined up.
Now, I will say I didn't do one by myself because I started getting like a headache and then I started feeling like weight in my chest, and my intuition was like, "You don't need to do it by yourself right now. That's how you feel." So I didn't. She didn't either, but she did it again, and I didn't even ask anything. I just sat there for a couple seconds to see if it would say anything. It said a couple things.
It said, yeah, it's crazy.
And this bird was literally the same bird was like a little hopping, like, and it hid and then like, went to a rock. And then as soon as we were done with the SS method, it flew away.
that bird, I have a feeling. Okay, so I'm pagan, and I talk to many spirits and deities, but I worship the goddess Hecate, and I asked her because she's the goddess of the crossroads. She's also the goddess of the dead. She guides lost souls to where they need to be.
Yeah.
I asked her prior. I said, "Could you please help us in this investigation, and please guide spirits who are willing to talk to us and who are a positive light? Please give us a sign on where to go next." The second I said that, a bird landed on a grave really close by. And I was like, I'm taking that as a sign. And we went there, and that same bird hopped from grave to grave, following us around. I'm pretty sure that was, if it wasn't the same bird, it was the same type of bird because it looked very similar. And we just took that as signs, and it led us everywhere we needed to be. But anyway, I think we should dive right into what we're going to be talking about today.
Now it is going to be what there's. Now, if you met me in person, I would not be the way I am right now. Probably, I'd be very awkward because I'm different when it's
Both are. We're both
yeah,
highly awkward.
yeah. When it's like she's more social than me, though. I mean, I don't mind being social. I work in retail.
I feel like that to me, Dutch Bros is very, you have to be high energy. You have to walk into work and shove a 9-volt hollow battery up your ass. And I'm like, okay.
They shotgun
Shotgun a rebel, shotgun a nitro, let's go. And then when I get home, I'm like,
Have you been taking your little Kraken that I gave you?
Yeah.
Shotgun. You have?
Yeah.
It's on TikTok Shop. Tell them it's on TikTok Shop.
Makes it great. I suck at shotgunning shit. Oh my god. I am the absolute worst at
But
it.
hey, it's easier instead of having to poke a hole with fire.
Oh yeah.
Welcome.
All right.
Now, I'm going to be talking about the one in London, the Enfield Poltergeist House. Tonight, we're traveling in North London to an ordinary-looking house that became the center of one of the most famous and controversial hauntings in history. Imagine being awakened in the middle of the night by a loud knocking sounds coming from inside your walls. Your furniture begins moving on its own. Toys fly across rooms. Strange voices echo through the darkness. And then one of your children starts speaking in a voice that doesn't belong to them. Yeah. This is the story of the Enfield Poltergeist. A case so strong that police officers, journalists, and paranormal investigators all claimed to witness events they could not explain. Was it a genuine supernatural haunting, a clever hoax, or something in between? Turn down the lights, settle in, and let's step inside one of Britain's most infamous haunted houses.
We're stepping outside of our little box here. We're doing stuff in Britain.
I know we
This is
said
our first European thing that we're doing, and I'm kind of excited for it.
listen. I know we said we would do stuff in like Alabama first, but there is stuff in Alabama. It's just
It's definitely not the most haunted state in the UK or in the US.
Now, the house itself was nothing extraordinary. It was a three-bedroom, semi-detached council home built in the 1920s and accompanied by Peggy Hodgson and her 4 children. Located in a quiet residential neighborhood, it looked like hundreds of other homes throughout London. Yet, between 1977 and 1979, this ordinary house became the center of international attention and inspired numerous books, documentaries, and the horror film Conjuring 2. If you've ever watched the Conjuring movies,
It's good.
they're good, but don't watch it in the dark.
No, no. I watched it during the day with every single light on, and I just like supernatural stuff. Like it's good.
You know what we need to do if we get an Airbnb? We need to watch all the Conjuring movies in the dark.
God, no.
In the dark.
Okay, I love horror movies, but even I'm not that dumb.
Hey, we're not alone though.
We're not alone, but oh my god.
I already feel like I'm being watched, so I mean,
Might as well make it worse.
might as well make it worse. You should put that on one of our reels. Or do the Alice and Carly core again.
I love doing that. That was so much fun. I want to make a bigger video about that one day because like it was just from that episode. So
Yeah.
that's gonna be fun.
Maybe from each episode we get something.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I was thinking. Yeah.
Now, the history of the haunting. The strange events reportedly began on the night of August 30th, 1977. Peggy Hodgson said she heard loud knocking sounds and witnessed furniture moving by itself. Frightened, she contacted police. One police officer later reported seeing a chair slide across the floor without any obvious cause. Soon afterward, neighbors, reporters, and paranormal researchers began visiting the house. As months passed, the disturbances disturbances allegedly grew more intense. Loud knocks echoed through the walls. Furniture moved on its own. Toys and household objects flew across the rooms. Beds shook violently, and strange voices were heard. Janet Hodgson, one of the daughters, was reportedly thrown from her bed and seen levitating. Two investigators from the Society for Psychological Research, uh, Maurice Gross and Guy Leon Clayfair, spent months documenting the case. They recorded hundreds of hours of audio and interviewed witnesses, becoming convinced that at least some of the phenomena could not be explained as tricks or pranks. Now, why is this house supposedly haunted? Believers anonymously point to a mysterious entity that identified itself as Bill Wilkins. Through a deep, raspy voice that seemed to come from Janet, the spirit claimed to be an elderly man who had died in the house years earlier while sitting in a chair downstairs.
That might be why it wasn't. Didn't you say the chair was moving by itself? That might be
That
why.
just slid across the room.
Yeah, that might be why.
Maybe he's mad. So many people's coming into his house and he's not happy.
I don't blame him.
Like he didn't get peace and now
Yeah,
he's become an angry spirit.
yeah,
Poltergeist. Supposedly.
yeah.
Um, Investigators recorded numerous conversations with the voice, which appeared capable of speaking for long periods, despite Janet supposedly not moving her lips. According to paranormal researchers, the spirit used Janet as a channel to communicate with the living. They believe the activity was characteristic of a poltergeist, a type of haunting associated with physical disturbances such as moving objects, knocking sounds, and attacks on residents. However, skeptics argue that many incidents were staged. Some investigators caught children bending spoons, throwing objects, and recreating certain phenomena. Even Janet later admitted that a few events had been faked, though she maintained that most of the activity was genuine. This mixture of evidence and controversy is one reason the Enfield case remains so fascinating to me. Now, onto one of the new parts.
Oh.
Paranormal experiences and sightings. This one is from Reddit. One of the earliest reports involved a heavy chest of drawers that allegedly slid across the floor by itself. Family members claimed it was so heavy they struggled to move it back. Witnesses later reported chairs tipping over and furniture shifting without anyone touching it. And that's like probably from like different posts on Reddit. There isn't anybody that just came from it. It's just, experiences from a lot of people.
Yeah.
So the voice of Bill. Now, perhaps the most chilling aspect of the case was the strange male voice that emerged from Janet. One he says described it as deep, rough, and unlike the voice of an 11-year-old girl. She was 11, speaking like an old man.
Oh.
Yeah. Recordings captured the voice answering questions and claiming to be the spirit of a deceased man, which I'll get to that the last part. But like, she was 11 and a girl at that, and freaking it.
She was sounding like this, and then all of a sudden she was sounding like this.
Okay. It's the old man.
Hey, mommy, can you fill my bottle? Hey, mommy, can you come to my room? Just imagine a cutesy little girl, little pigtails with flowers and braids in her hair, and she just goes, Mother,
I'm hungry. I'm hungry now.
Mother, feed me.
Now, flying objects. Visitors to the house frequently reported seeing toys, marbles, Lego bricks, owl, and other items fly across rooms. Some journalists claim they were struck by objects while investigating the case. Photographer Graham Morris later recalled being hit by flying items during a visit. Ow. Just imagine you stepping on one of those Lego bricks.
Your mother buys you mega blocks of stilettos.
Now, levitation. Levitation. The most famous photographs from the case appear to show Janet suspended in midair above her bed. Believers argue these images captured genuine levitation. Skeptics counter that the photographs simply show a child jumping from her bed. The images remain some of the most debated paranormal photographs ever taken. What makes the Enfield case unique in the number of witnesses? More than 30 people, including neighbors, journalists, police officers, and paranormal investigators, reported seeing unusual events. Supporters argue this leads credibility to the haunting, while skeptics note that eyewitness testimony alone does not prove supernatural activity. Now, whether the Enfield poltergeist was a genuine haunting, a series of elaborate hoaxes, or a combination of both, the events at 284 Green Street, that is where it's located in London, it remains one of the most famous paranormal mysteries in history. Nearly 50 years later, investigators and enthusiasts still debate what really happened inside that small London house. For believers, it is one of the strongest cases of paranormal activity ever recorded. For skeptics, it is a fascinating example of how fear, media attention, and imagination can create a legend that refuses to die. Freaking, there's so many skeptics and there's so many people that believe in it, but it's hard to because it's.
What's your take on it? What do you believe?
I somewhat believe some of it, but some of it can, like everything, it can be debunked.
Yeah.
That's how I'm not fully a believer at some things.
I
Because like
believe
some things can be
I believe everything can be debunked, but you cannot excuse the paranormal activity. Like paranormal activity, it really depends. Personally, I think that some of it was real, and then maybe the family got a lot of clout because back then they were kind of poor. So I feel like they took whatever was there and they just amplified it. So like they made it more dramatic and they exaggerated everything. So I think, because like, I mean, you can't just get that from nowhere. What kind of family, what kind of Christian household does that just out of nowhere? But yeah. I think that it's just a house. It's a house that has spirits, but it's definitely, I don't think, as bad as they made you believe it to be.
It's poppycock.
Poppycock. It's poppycock.
It's poppycock.
I want you guys to tell us what you think about this in the comments. Do you think it was a hoax? Do you think that it was real? Or do you think a little bit of both? Personally,
I think it's a bit of both.
I think it's a bit of both too. Okay.
Because I try to keep my mind open.
So today I'm going to be talking about the very house that inspired it all, the original Conjuring House. Every house tells a story. Some are written in photographs and family records. Others are whispers through empty hallways and carried on the wind. Tonight, we're opening the door to one of the most infamous haunted locations in America. Not to prove or disprove the paranormal, but to uncover the history, the legends, and the experiences that have made this farmhouse a destination for believers and skeptics alike. So turn down the lights, keep one eye open on the shadows, and join us as we discover what wants to remain in the closet.
Dun dun dun.
Alrighty.
Just add like a lightning strike.
Ka-chow.
Ka-chow.
All right, so this original Conjuring House is located in Harrisville, Rhode Island, and is one of the oldest surviving homes in the state. It was built in 1736. It was originally known as the Old Arnold Estate. It is approximately 3,100 square feet. It has 14 rooms, over 8 acres of land surrounded by forests and stone
I'm
walls.
sorry, what? 14 rooms?
14 rooms in this small, tiny ass cabin. If you look up the Conjuring House, the tiny ass cabin with like some extensions, I have a feeling some
I
of it was
did
added
not
on.
have that many rooms.
Yeah. I have a feeling some of it was added on, but like it's
That's
still
true.
it's a lot of rooms, but it's cramped. All right. Long before it became famous, it was a working colonial farmhouse where, in like back in the day, people didn't marry and then move off. I mean, sometimes they did, especially if they were women to live with a male family.
Yeah.
But back in the day, farmhouses like these were mainly generational homes. So all the family, the children, parents, grandparents, sometimes great grandparents, all lived in the same house.
Generation.
They lived, worked, and died. So a lot of at least residual energy.
Yeah.
However, the house is not the only thing that has history. It's also the land. Before European settlers arrived, the land belonged to the indigenous peoples who lived throughout present-day Rhode Island. Like much of New England, the region has a long history filled with war, disease, and displacement. Whether those events contribute to paranormal claims is impossible to know, but they add another layer of the property's mysterious reputation. So, anything to do with Native Americans, energy, instantly. Don't fuck with that energy.
Don't bet on their life.
Just don't. I'm a white person. I don't even go on it, at least not without their permission. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right. For nearly 8 generations, members of the Arnold family lived on the property. During that time, numerous deaths occurred, many of them very tragic. So it went, these stories include children dying before adulthood, which was very common for that time, drownings in the nearby water, which it's like if you drive up to the Conjuring House, there's the cabin, forest, and then right over here is the lake. Fatal illnesses, farm accidents, and then elderly family members dying inside the home. While these deaths were unfortunately common in colonial America, the sheer number has fueled paranormal speculation for decades. Now, that is a brief surface summary of all the history and, just going into the house. Now we're moving on to the legend of Bathsheba Sherman. No name is more connected to the Conjuring House than Bathsheba Sherman, who is also in the first Conjuring movie. According to local legend, she was accused of killing an infant left in her care. Rumors claim she practiced witchcraft, and some stories say she cursed the land before taking her own life. However, there is no historical evidence that Bathsheba was convicted of murder or practiced witchcraft. The infant's death was investigated with no charges were ever filed. Many historians believe her reputation grew from local gossip that transformed into modern folklore. That raises an interesting question. Is Bathsheba a ghost or simply the victim of a story that refused to die? Now, I'm going a little bit into Bathsheba Sherman just because I know a little bit more about the history. How she supposedly killed this infant was she stuck a small pin to the back of his head and it pierced their brain and the baby died. And rumors say if you go into the Conjuring House and you summon Bathsheba, you will feel a jolt of pain in the back of your head where she would stick pricks into babies' heads. Yeah, it's sad. Sometimes history doesn't haunt us because it's supernatural. Sometimes it haunts us because no one remembers where the truth ends and the legend begins. And maybe that's what wants to remain in the closet. Now, the Perron family arrives. Where? In 1971, Roger and Caroline Perron moved into the farmhouse with their 5 daughters. Almost immediately, they claimed strange things began happening. For the next 10 years, they would become the center of one of America's most famous paranormal stories. Not every encounter was frightening, which is a little good to hear. However, the more kinder spirits, the daughters described seeing an elderly woman knitting in a chair, children laughing, gentle apparitions watching over them, and spirits who simply seemed unaware that they had died. Some family members even claimed they felt protected by certain entities. Now, there is a lot of stories about there being very protective spirits of the Conjuring House. Personally, I don't believe that the Conjuring House is evil. I think there's just a lot of energy mixed in with that house. And unfortunately, when it comes to having a lot of energy, there comes to some negative aspects.
Yeah.
However, with there being good, there's also bad. The negative presences included doors opening by themselves, furniture moving, invisible hands touching them, footsteps throughout the house, voices whispering names, bed shaking, and objects disappearing and reappearing. Caroline Perron allegedly experienced unexplained scratches and bruises. She also claimed to sense a presence that intensely disliked her. Now, this was the 1970s haunted house. You know what that means?
Mm.
Ed and Lorraine Warren makes a cameo. Eventually, paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren visited the home. They believed the family was dealing with a powerful negative entity. What else is news? It's the Warrens. Instead of an exorcism, they conducted a seance. Brilliant. Perfect. Instead of getting rid of the thing, they contact the thing, summon it, and then just let it
Just
roam
make-
around the house.
Yeah, and bring more in too.
Oh. I wrote this down in my notes. Andrea Perron later said the investigation made activity worse than better. Bruh, I cannot stand Warrens. I cannot stand these bitches. Now, moving on to, just kind of the I feel like people think the Conjuring House is so bad, it's so powerful. It's powerful because of a lot of the energies. However, what originally went on in that house is just essentially just a lot of energy. Hollywood, with the Conjuring movies, created a lot of that negative um representation. In 2013, The Conjuring introduced millions of people to the farmhouse, but the movie changed many details. For instance, in the movie, there's demonic possession, a violent exorcism, Bathsheba as the evil witch, and then immediate resolution, and then more reported. The reality of The Conjuring House is that there's no documented exorcism. The parents stayed nearly 10 years.
Yeah.
Many experiences were more peaceful rather than terrifying, and much of Bashima's story remains unverified folklore. There's literally no record of her ever killing a baby.
So yeah, it could be
They
just
just-
like hearsay or a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, moving on to public investigations. Unlike many famous haunted locations, the original Conjuring House is open for public investigation, which I want to put you on it. I want to go
Same.
so bad.
Same, but we don't have the money.
Mm-hmm. Now, visitors can take guided tours, participate in overnight investigations, join paranormal events, explore the grounds and historic rooms. Now, moving on to the most active areas, the basement. Often described as the most unsettling part of the house. Visitors reported cold spots, shadow figures, heavy feelings, footsteps, and unexplained noises. Many investigators begin and end their sessions here because of its reputation. The living room. Guests have reported motion sensors activating, flashlights turning on without being touched, voices captured on digital recorders, sensation of someone standing behind them. The bedrooms. Some overnight guests claim to experience being touched while asleep, whispering, knocking on walls, and dreams that feel unusually vivid. The property. Outside the home, visitors have reported strange lights, shadow figures walking between trees, mists appearing without explanation, feelings of being watched. Now, normally investigators bring, you can bring like the EMF meters, spirit boxes, EVP sessions, REM pods, things like that.
Yeah.
Now, I did a little digging because I kind of wanted to know more about who and what haunts the house.
Mm-hmm.
And I found some pretty decent stuff. All right. One of the reasons the Conjuring House has become so famous is that there isn't just one alleged ghost. According to the Perron family, paranormal investigators, and visitors, there are multiple entities ranging from friendly to dark, more intimidating presences. Now, one of the most famous spirits that haunt the house is Bathsheba Sherman. She was a real woman who lived in the 1800s near the property. She was married to Judson Sherman and had a son. Local rumors accused her of killing an infant with a sewing needle while babysitting. The legend occurred when she was practicing witchcraft. She worshipped the devil. She sacrificed an infant as an offering, and before dying, she supposedly cursed the land and anyone who lived there. The legend claims she hanged herself from a tree on the property after reclaiming her loyalty to Satan. Now, the more historical reality, there's no documented evidence that she practiced witchcraft, murdered a child, cursed the property, or died by suicide. However, it does indicate that she did die in 1885, likely from natural causes. There is a cemetery nearby on the property where she was most likely buried at. Her reported ghosts, the Perron family believed a hostile female was targeted Caroline Perron. They described her as angry, jealous, possessive of the home, and capable of scratching and physically harming people. Whether that spirit is actually a Bathsheba is impossible to verify, but the association became central to the legend. Now, there's a lot of there's an elderly woman. She's a very protective spirit. She's dressed in old-fashioned clothing, never threatening. She is just sitting in her little rocking chair, knitting away. She's a very kind spirit. There's a man. Okay, this is actually kind of terrifying. There's a man who's a broken neck. He's an apparition that appears with a broken or twisted neck. Imagining it. Imagine a 6'2" Civil War soldier whose neck is just
not too tall, not much taller than my boyfriend. I'd pass that right then.
Several members of the Perron family reported seeing a man whose neck appeared twisted or broken. This is probably the scariest part. He wouldn't do anything. He would just appear as an apparition and just stare at you. So he would stare at you with a neck like this. No, he never spoke. He would just disappear. There's also a woman in gray. Who was a woman dressed up in gray. The kids reported her floating through the hallways. There's children spirits, and then a shadow figure. Visitors and investigators normally spot the shadow figure. Modern investigators frequently report seeing a tall black silhouette, a figure standing in doorways, and something moving just outside their peripheral vision. Now, wanting to explore the dark entity a little bit, so, why not? Perhaps the most unsettling reports involve something witnesses cannot describe as human. People have claimed to experience a crushing feeling on their chest, intense dread, feeling watched, sudden nausea, cold spots, and the sensation of something is standing directly behind them. This spirit is malevolent. So under no circumstances should you summon the spirit. I also failed to mention two of the most prominent spirits of the Conjuring House. These spirits, Abigail and David. Do you remember from the Sam and Colby video? Abigail and David. So Abigail is a very kind spirit. I think she might be some of the maybe the woman in gray that the kids mentioned, but she's the spirit of the Conjuring House who's very protective. She's very leading. She protects the visitors when they go there. You go there, you contact her, you ask for protection, and she'll help you. She'll guide you throughout the whole house. However, there's the spirit David. People don't believe is David. Visitors have reported contacting David, and he is known to be a Civil War soldier. Some visitors have also reported seeing, you'll be inside the house, seeing Civil War soldiers walking around the porch of the house. David appears as a Civil War soldier. He resides in the basement. However, investigators who contacted David have reported that he might not be a person at all, and he might just be an evil entity hiding in the basement. There's also one of the owners of the Conjuring House said, and this goes back to the Native American lore. One of the one of the tour guides of the Conjuring House actually said that one day she was in there, she was locking up, there were lights on, there was everything, and she just heard constant drumming. And this drumming came from forest, and it got louder and louder and louder. It sounded like war drumming. The louder it got, the closer it got. And all of a sudden, the second it went to the house, all the lights in the house just went off. Almost exploded the light bulbs.
I'm sorry.
The Conjuring House is not just placed. It's not just house. It's the land. There's land spirits. There's angry land spirits. Probably indigenous people.
I would love to go there and explore it, but I would not want to own it.
Absolutely not. And there's people living there now. There's people who own it. I don't think they live in the house. They live on the property.
Yeah,
for sure.
It was for sale, and then people were trying to get it.
Yeah, people bought it. Yeah, thank God. Sam and Colby thought about buying it, and I was like, "Oh, you out of your goddamn mind. One school's enough."
But this ain't a school. This is the
Yeah,
Conjuring.
it's the Conjuring House. I love the Conjuring House. The Conjuring House is definitely one of my favorite haunted houses. It's that and the Amityville. Those are my two favorite haunted houses. But
Mm.
now we're going on.
Well, mine are, of course, the Conjuring House. And then the Winchester.
Very much. We're doing that soon. This is the 11th episode. The next one, I don't know what the next one is. Then the 13th one is, but yeah. All right, now we're moving on to the skeptic view because it wouldn't be a There's a Ghost in My Closet podcast without including a skeptical view. Okay. Skeptics suggest some experiences may be explained by power of suggestion, old house silent noises, environmental conditions, sleep deprivation during overnight investigators, and confirmation bias. Yet even skeptics often admit that the atmosphere of the house is undeniably eerie. Yeesh. Now, every legend begins with a single voice brave enough to tell the story. Whether those voices belong to the living or the dead is for you to decide. Until next time, keep listening to the silence, keep questioning the shadows, and never forget that the most terrifying mysteries are often what wants to remain.
Dun, dun, dun.
But yeah, there's a cemetery on the property, as well as Native American people, as well as I'm pretty sure some angry land spirits because of all the shit going on.
And there's supposed dead Civil War bodies buried in the dirt.
Yeah. One of the owners of the Conjuring House said that he was like doing a metal detector, and you could find literally so many dead bodies using metal detectors.
Well, it's not a metal detector. It's like the thing to see, like, how you would use it for a lake.
Yeah,
so many cars.
It was it was like a thing that looked like a metal detector, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
and
it would show the divots inside the ground, but it looked like a dead body.
Yeah, there's so many, and like okay, and with generational homes,
yeah,
back in the day, they're poor, they couldn't afford a headstone, they would just bury them in the backyard. They would have a family cemetery, which is what that probably was.
Yeah, and there's nothing.
Yeah, it was. Oh my god, it was. That house, I can't even begin to describe how much shit is going on.
That house is way worse than the one in London.
Oh, yeah. By far.
Definitely, by far. But, like, I would love to go to that Conjuring House.
I'm gonna go to both. Because, I mean,
no.
Like, both of those houses were so haunted, they inspired the whole franchise, The Conjuring. But yeah. Yeah. Is it Oracle time? Sorry for the headphone users. Carly has chosen this time as Alice Oracle time. Now, I will not be using my tarot card this time. Instead, I will be using the Odyssey Oracle cards by Paolo Barberi. Barberi. I don't know what this is. I just bought this, and I actually went to Books A Million today, and I saw this prior. I think it was like a month ago I saw this, and I was like, you know what? I don't have the money right now. When I come back, if it's still here, I'll get it. And what do you know? It was in the exact same spot, so I got it. So today might be a little bit different. It's not going to be the tarot cards. However, these are going to give you more guidance than probably what my tarot cards will give you. So
yes,
let's open her up. Alrighty, you guys have received these cards. If you guys are watching, I will hold them up to the camera so you can see it. But you guys got Perilous Passage, Sacred Storyteller, which I also got this one when I gave myself a reading not too long ago, and a Mighty Shot. Ooh, glare. That's okay. So when we go to the Sacred Storyteller, it is a card that represents creativity, it represents the muses, it represents, the Odyssey is the story of Odysseus and how creative everything was. And just, if it's basically telling you, you might have been stressed out lately, you might not really know where to go from here, you might be stuck, you might have a lot of writer's block if you're a writer, you might, have some sort of block with your creativity and your passions. This card is telling you that you need to rekindle with your passions. You need to find better coping mechanisms. Maybe write, paint, do something creative. Yes. It's also telling you that it is okay to sit and breathe and just be with your thoughts, be with your desires. It's okay to have desires and creativity. You need a way to express that. Now, when we move on to Perilous Passage, this is a card about making decisions. This card is all about, okay, so in the story of the Odyssey, in this moment in time, Odysseus is struggling between choosing if he wants to spare his crew but lose his wife, which was the main goal for getting home, or if he wants to use his crew as bait just to get home to his wife. He eventually does decide to kill off his men and get home to his wife, as he should. But this card is all about making difficult decisions and knowing when the decision is the right decision. Now, I will say Odysseus, I think that he could have used another option, to be fair.
Yeah.
But this card is basically reminding you that you have decisions to make. So you need to
Make one that feels right with you.
make the right decision, is what this is saying. So with your creativity, you probably might be struggling on what decision, like how to broadcast your creativity, how to let it go, how to have all this pent up just ideas and you don't know what to do with. You need to find that calling. You need to find these ideas. Like what me and Carly do with this podcast. This is your sign to start a podcast. 100% is, because I mean that's what I was doing. Me and Carly have had this idea for so long, but I was just sitting in my room like one day a couple months ago. I was bored. I was off that day, and I've always been a yapper, especially in my head. I've always had these ideas in my head. I wanted to get them out, and I'm also just wanted to spend time talking about my favorite topic. So I contacted Carly and I said, we need to start this. We need to go to Lizzie's, write down ideas, start filming to see where it takes us.
And it took us a minute to get our name, and there's a ghosty fight going, you know? It just fit.
You know what? It worked out. It worked out really well. So this is your sign to take that leap.
We may not have a lot of followers, but we do appreciate the ones that are listening and following.
Exactly.
We really do appreciate it.
You really do. It's just amazing. But
we're getting recommendations.
Now, with the saying take that leap, that is exactly what a mighty shot card represents. That means take that leap of faith. You know what to do. You have the abilities to do it.
Take the risk.
Take the risk. Take the leap. If you're scared of letting out your creativity, you're just going to be sad. You're going to be depressed. You're not going to have any room to grow.
And don't give up. Like just recently, I saw we don't really have like these other people. We really don't have followers, and not a lot of listeners. You know, it's making me a bit, sad. Like, maybe we won't get as many as we're thinking we might get.
Be a little,
but the thing is, then I thought about it. It may take a while. It usually does. We took a risk, and we went with one of our ideas. And guess what? We've gotten some followers.
And even if we don't get big, I'm still happy just doing it. This is
it's a good hobby.
This is something that gets out our creative energy. This is something that gets our focus and expresses our emotions. And honestly, it's made me a much better mental state. It's given me it's giving me more to look forward to.
Same here.
The point is, be like us and
take the risk.
Take the risk and spend time doing what you love. You have the ability to.
Either by yourself or with your best friend. Like
exactly.
Us.
I feel like some of you might be struggling to figure out how to do that. You might be struggling like, well, I want to do this, but I don't have the time, or I want to do this, this, and this, and I don't know which one to pick.
We narrow the same thing.
Exactly.
But guess what? Same thing. We find the time.
Find the time, and you know what? Sometimes if you feel like it's too much of a chore, maybe the hobby just wasn't for you and you need to find a new one. So that is your guys' unethical life advice for the day. If you want any more readings, if you want more in-depth to this one, or if you just want a more personal reading, you can go to my Etsy page. I'll be linking it below, but it's Alice Oracle of Arcana. Find me on Etsy. You can also DM me on Instagram if you would like any sort of cameo or anything like that.
No. My advice to you.
Carly's words of wisdom. What do you have for us?
There's two. Don't provoke unless you want to see what happens.
Don't say the unless. Just don't provoke.
Yes.
You're gonna give them ideas.
You're gonna get what you provoked, So don't provoke unless you want to experience what happens, which it could be bad. It could be horrible. It could be extremely bad. Now, number 2, like we said, take risks. If it doesn't work out the first time, second time, don't give up. Because, like I said, I was about to give up, but then I was thinking, well, this is actually fun. Like, I'm actually, every time I'm looking forward to this every Sunday. But yeah, take the risk, and maybe you'll get to where you want to go.
And also, if you struggle with knowing what to do, or if you struggle with having motivation, do it with your best friend.
Yes.
Because I can't tell you how I literally have not laughed that hard at all week. And even if, like I said, if this doesn't get big, this is our therapy. This is how we get out our negative emotions.
This is how we do it.
Yes, that is how we do it. Wah, wah. All right. Well, as always, you can hit us up at there's a ghost in my closet at gmail.com.
Yes, it's backwards.
It's okay. For
now.
I'll link below.
Yes.
And you can send us any listener stories. You can send us comments. You can send us even critical feedback. We would gladly accept that. We may crack, but it's okay. You can also get us at Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at There's a Ghost in My Closet.
You can also give us recommendations on what to do.
We highly support recommendations.
That's
I
good.
really want to have a true crime season. I want to have a true crime season so bad.
Yes.
I think that one would be really fun, but we're gonna have to spend a lot of time on that for me.
We're gonna have to spend time.
Yeah, but
Going to Lizzie's.
going to Lizzie. But I think that is all I had for you guys today, Carly. Is there any last words of wisdom?
Don't be stupid.
As usual, don't be stupid.
Don't be stupid.
Alrighty, guys. As always, I'm Alice.
I'm Carly.
And we'll throw you in the next one. Stay spooky.
Spooky.